usually show up late, but let's get into it, guys. I'm really excited. So I just want to welcome everybody to another Cryptonairz AMA. We're actually sitting down with Veracity today, which is a huge blue chip project. I think they're like $130 million market cap. I've been a big fan of VRA for a very long time, and I'm just very excited to sit down and chat with Elliot here from Veracity and just talk about what's going on. They have so much going on. I have so many good questions here. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm with my main man, Scott, here, who usually is my co-host. Elliot, do you want to just give a brief description of maybe who you are and what you do for Veracity?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Elliot, as you all know. I've been with Veracity since the 1st of January 2022, so pretty much the first quarter now, coming up, well, 3 months exactly. So it's been a really busy few months. I've personally been in crypto since about 2016, been working in the space, first off a little bit of part-time. My background is in communications and comms, so I've had the pleasure of working with like the likes of the Cardano Foundation, worked a little bit with Chainlink, Mode Bitcoin, Signum Digital Asset Bank, some real cool like startups, and then the last project that I worked with was like an IDO launchpad and DeFi protocol called Occam Finance. So I've been about in the space for a while, and Veracity really interested me because I come from like obviously the crypto background, but I'm also really interested in esports. So we've got VeraEsports, which is like dedicated to esports streaming. And I thought that sort of the like merging esports with blockchain was going to be huge and really interesting, and it's been great. Like the last few months have been really cool. I love working with Veracity.
Yeah, man, that's actually my first question. I wanted to talk about VeraEsports. I'm a huge when I'm not doing crypto stuff, you know, that's usually like 10 hours a day. I do like to get in some Apex Legends, and I am a huge Apex fan. And I know VeraEsports kind of has several different, games and different things that they're working with. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what VeraEsports is and maybe how people can participate in it if they choose to?
Yeah, for sure. So VeraEsports is basically a content platform that hosts like esports content, especially tournaments. So at the moment on VeraEsports, if you head over, for anyone listening who's maybe not familiar with the platform, it's just VeraEsports.com. So we host tournaments for CSGO, PUBG and PUBG Mobile, Dota 2, and also Valorant at the moment. We also have the Galaxy Cup, which is an Axie Infinity community-led tournament, streaming as well at the moment. So we've got quite a good range of games there. We feature a lot of content from streamers. We let community members make their own tournaments. And basically, the key USP, I would say, about VeraEsports is that we have a watch to earn feature. So a little bit like we have play to earn games where you play the game and you earn tokens, or you earn maybe NFTs as you're playing. Our platform is a watch to earn platform. So you get rewarded in VRA tokens or credits for watching videos and watching tournaments on our platform. So not only can you enjoy some of the hottest esports tournaments, but you can also get rewarded for doing that. And you can do that through the Vera wallet. It's really easy to get signed up. At the moment, we're really, really pleased that, and we announced it in, I think it was early February now, we announced that we were working with Riot Games. Obviously, they're one of the biggest games providers in the world. They're owned by Tencent as well. And we're working with those to broadcast the Valorant Champions Tour for the APAC region for 2022. So that's absolutely huge news for us. We're on their preferential broadcast partners. We're about, I would say, like halfway through that tournament now. I think playoffs have just concluded, but we've got some other content lined up for May for that. So we're really excited to bring that to the platform as well, and look at more ways that we can work with Riot. Maybe we can get into how VeraEsports feeds into the wider strategy of Veracity as a whole a bit later, but that's like VeraEsports in a nutshell. Yeah, it's a place you can watch esports and you can earn tokens while you're doing so.
So right. So if I want to participate and watch some esports, I'm sure there's some ads and things running, and I'm watching those. So am I getting paid in the VRA token, or is it some other kind of compensation? Walk me through kind of what the rewards are and what they're like. I mean, I'm sure it's not millions of VRA going out a day, but like walk us through a little bit about maybe what the average person is earning to watch maybe a couple hours of a tournament and things like that. Do you have those numbers?
For sure, yeah. So I mean that usually depends on like which video it is, so it does differ for each tournament. But what I can say is that the rewards are like pretty reasonable considering like all you have to do is watch, and at the moment there actually aren't ads on the platform. And this is part of why I said I would explain how it feeds into our wider basically our wider business proposition as Veracity as a whole project. But firstly, yeah, just going back to your question about what do you get rewarded in. So you can be rewarded in VRA. You can also be rewarded in points, which can then be redeemed. So we have a redemption store that you can go to. And you can use some of these points to redeem against in-game items. So, for instance, at the moment, we have like some Lifesaver, Crimson Swordsman. These are skins for like PUBG and that sort of thing. You can get VeraEsports points and use them for Steam Wallet cards, stuff like that. I mean, we also have, they've sold out at the minute, but we had also some Axes up for grabs for redemption. And those would be VeraEsports points that you would redeem them for. So there's loads of different things you can do. At the moment, though, this is still sort of in beta. So we are working on the release of an NFT marketplace in Q2, so basically this quarter. And the NFT marketplace is going to be, it's going to be like your typical NFT marketplace, but we're going to be using relationships there with the gaming partners that we have to have exclusive like in-game items, skins, all of these really cool NFTs that you can use in actual game ecosystems, and they're going to be available through the NFT marketplace, which is going to be called Veraverse. So that's basically where it's going. That's going to be the evolution of VeraEsports. You're going to watch these tournaments, you're going to earn points, and then you can redeem them against like official merch for some of the games and some of the games providers that we have a relationship with.
Are you guys linked into like YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff? So I mean, like, do the people need to be watching, I guess, through your platform? Can you walk us through kind of maybe what partnerships you guys have made with some of those kind of bigger names, if you guys have any? Because I thought I read somewhere that you guys are able to do like Twitch and YouTube and some other ones through Vera Views. Is that not right?
Sure. So, I mean, this is probably, where it's worth talking about like our wider strategy as a company, as Veracity. But also we do have an API which pretty much is supported by a multitude of video players. So anyone can use that API, and that's for the Vera player. But actually our wider strategy is like a whole platform. So Veracity is an ad tech project, and we produce solutions that prevent ad fraud.
Yep.
Now, ad fraud is a multi-billion-dollar problem across the whole of the internet. So whenever you watch a video and you're served an ad, us guys and the people listening to this, we're real people watching that ad. If we were to like click through the ad, or if we were to just, in some cases, watch the whole ad, the publisher would get some revenue share. They would get paid for serving that ad. But unfortunately, a lot of ads, some people think maybe up to and in excess of 40% of ads are actually just served to bots. They're served to fake people. So it's sort of like, the analogy I like to use is like, imagine like a city like New York, and 40% of people turn their TVs on, and then they leave the room and they don't come back for the whole night, and there's all these ads playing to absolutely no one. And it's a real massive problem. It costs like publishers and brands billions of dollars a year in lost revenue. So we really need to find a way to stop it. And this is what Vera Views, which is our ad tech stack, does. Now, how does this link to VeraEsports? And this is what it's been part of my job to make clearer since I joined. So we, as a company, we see esports as being one of the biggest growth areas for like video content in the world. It's growing absolutely hugely. I think I read somewhere the other day actually, and like it's tough to believe, but it's like it has double the viewers now of the NBA for esports, like across the world. So it's getting wildly popular, and even traditional sports are now looking at how they can use esports platforms and maybe like get in with that probably younger demographic of people who want to watch esports and watch people play games. So we see that as a huge growth area. But for us to test our ad tech stack, we need like a ton of volume coming through and views. So we need loads of people to be watching videos, so that we can basically stress test our systems, which is the VeraView system, and make sure that it works as intended. So then we can take that data and give it to like publishers. So say, for instance, and I only use this as an example, but say, for instance, Sky wanted an ad tech stack. They wanted to prevent ad fraud. They would obviously want to see some metrics of how much we prevented. So this is why we deployed VeraEsports. It's going to be a proof of concept for our VeraViews ad tech stack. So at the moment, this is why you can earn rewards for watching content on VeraEsports without getting served ads. There are no ads at the moment. It's because we want people to use the platform, push that volume up so that we can stress test our systems. And we've recently completed quite a major milestone, but it actually all happened on the back end, so no one really knew about it. But we moved all of our content library on VeraEsports to Brightcove. So in January, we announced that we had a partnership with Brightcove.
Yeah.
Brightcove, one of the like biggest video on demand platforms in the world. So probably everyone listening to this now, they might not know it, but they will have watched a video that's hosted on the Brightcove video player at some point. You can sort of compare it to maybe like Vimeo. It's sort of similar, but it's mainly used by brands and that sort of thing. So a lot of well-known brands use Brightcove. You can head on over to their website and see they're used by like Dunkin' Donuts. They're used by the BBC here in the UK. And basically, we've now completed, and we released this information in our roadmap update yesterday. We've now completed a really easy way for Brightcove publishers, so some of those brands like I just mentioned, to plug and play and quickly enable the VeraViews ad tech stack within the Brightcove player. So we've now got all of our VeraEsports content on Brightcove. It sits on Brightcove, which means that we can run our VeraViews ad tech stack on top of that and really begin testing how VeraViews performs like at an enterprise grade level. So that's where we're at the moment. We have all the components ready to roll out to enterprise through Brightcove. So yeah, basically we're just all about scaling up now. That's where we're going from here, and then bring in the NFT marketplace, Veraverse, through to basically like make a circular economy where we can reward people for watching videos, prevent fraud, and then let them buy like really cool NFTs and in-game items with those points that they earn.
I think it's really, really intelligent that you guys are doing custom skins and stuff like that. I mean, I know when I'm playing some games with some people, they really go crazy over certain skins, and if it's like something truly awesome that everybody wants, they'll definitely come do whatever they have to do to get those skins in game. Can you talk to me a little bit about how VeraViews fights ad fraud? Like, how do you guys know the person's still there watching? I mean, because I'm thinking like, if I just leave it on, I walk into the room like you said, and it just plays. How do you guys verify, or how does that work, that you guys know that someone's physically watching that and it's not ad fraud or it's not a bot?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And actually, we do it through a number of means. So we've got a patented module called Proof of View. Now, Proof of View is a blockchain-based component. It's got its back end on a sidechain of Ethereum that we built like tailor-made for this purpose. Proof of View is patented now in the USA and China. So it's one of the first blockchain-based ad fraud solutions to receive a patent in China, which is really cool.
That's huge.
And
in the US,
especially
right?
given like, and the US, yeah, but especially given how like China sort of feel about a lot of blockchain technologies. It was a huge milestone for us. We also did that in Q1 2022 to get that approval in China. But proof of view is actually just one component of our ad tech stack. And this is something else. I don't know if there's anyone in the audience. I can see a few familiar names. Shout out to Burmese there. I can see a few familiar names that probably already know quite a lot about Veracity. But for those who don't know, Proof of View is our patented module and it's our blockchain module. But the VeraView's ad tech stack, which is like the whole package, it's like the full Monty basically of how we prevent ads, that actually uses 13 separate components to prevent these fraudulent ads. So we've got a mix of like on-chain and off-chain components. Some of these use like AI and machine learning, and they're also like pretty industry standard components. But where we really excel is by bringing the ad serve data and putting it on chain. So by putting it on chain through Proof of View, we can basically allow publishers to prove that they've had a real view, and that really empowers them to then take this to advertisers who are the ones who pay them essentially, and say, look, this is how many ads we serve to real people. It's been verified on the blockchain. Pay me, basically. So now, for those of maybe you guys who aren't familiar with the ad space, right now, if I was a publisher, say I had a big YouTube channel or something, and I had some agreements in place with a major advertiser, I would have to prove to them that I had got, say I had like 100 views, for instance. I'd have to prove that all of those views were real. And from the point of me presenting that viewership data to the point of me getting paid for those ads served can take up to 6 months or even longer.
Wow.
Whereas with, yeah, exactly. Like, and imagine that if you're like trying to run a business as well, or if you're a content creator, you're a big content creator, for those 6 months, you're not going to get any revenue. Like, so for like 6 months of you creating a channel or something, you might get like nothing. But with VeraViews and with Proof of View specifically, because it's on chain, it's instantly verifiable. So we believe that it could bring payment terms in the industry down to like days or weeks rather than months, which would be hugely beneficial for publishers,
Wow.
which would definitely increase its adoption. But also, you asked there about how it prevents, like how it knows that the viewers are real. So some of the technology used is like basically like tried and tested ad fraud prevention technology. So it can do things like making sure that you're still in a frame, so that you're still watching within a frame on the website, that you haven't moved the window to the back, because what a lot of these bots do, or even people trying to defraud the thing, they'll open the window and then they'll just minimize it, or they'll put it to the back. They'll also check that it's actually been used by like the same IP, so it's not part of like a botnet. So it's not being like fraudulently watched on someone else's machine who may have accidentally downloaded something that contains like a botnet file. So it uses a whole host of these like platforms and like components to prevent fraud. But where we really excel is the on-chain component, and that's what we've got the patent for. So no one can really copy the ad tech stack that we've built. It's totally unique to Veracity.
That's huge, man. And I mean, I know they were talking about like, there's a couple other projects that are trying to kind of fight ad fraud too, and it's like hundreds of billions of dollars a year in ad fraud. So I mean, it's huge that you guys actually have the patent in the U.S. and in China. Are you guys looking to expand the patent in any other countries or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have obviously looked at expanding into some of the European markets. And yeah, we'll basically seek patent approval wherever we can. But mainly the two biggest advertising markets on earth are obviously the USA and now China, which is coming up fast. China's GDP is growing at like an unprecedented rate. And they've got like an upwardly mobile population that is basically sort of, like their standard of living is raising across the board, and they're probably going to become one of the biggest ad markets in the world in the next few years, maybe even surpass the USA. So for us to have the patent there is really important. But what's also really interesting, we should probably talk about it now before we move on to something else, but we're actually using this patented technology, the proof of view technology, to verify NFTs as well.
That was my next question. You're reading my mind right now. Let's talk about it, brother.
Yeah, maybe ask the question if you want, or I can just.
No, I was gonna say, how does proof of view work with NFTs? I saw that was in I think it was in your white paper that I was reading, and so I was really curious about how that's gonna work. So I mean, you're right on, brother. Go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And we're actually going to have a new white paper out really soon. We finished on that. We're just getting the last little bits of design work, make it look a little bit better than the last one. So for anyone listening in, we do have a new white paper on the way. But yeah, proof of view for NFTs is basically, it sits within a tailored smart contract. So there'll be proof of view enabled smart contracts that mint the NFTs. And essentially what they do is they prevent fraud at the point of NFT creation. So I don't know if you guys, I know that NFTs are really big for Cryptonairz community. I don't know if you guys saw a few weeks ago, I think it was OpenSea, said that up to 80% of the mints on their protocol are actually fraudulent mints. What they meant by that is that they're not fake NFTs as such. Like, they are, of course, real NFTs, but what people are doing is they're taking your avatar, Crypto Sensei or Scott, and they would just copy it and they would just make a new NFT with it. So then the burden of proof is on you guys to prove that you had the first one, because technically they've still got an NFT with that piece of art on. And this is a real problem. People are getting defrauded. We've seen some issues in the last week with major NFT projects that have been victim to fraud. And proof of view can stop this at the point of mint. So essentially what it does is an NFT would be minted via the proof of view certified mint, and then we would take that minted NFT and store it in what we're going to call the Vera Vault. So the Vera Vault indexes the NFT content, including the actual image, so the actual image of the NFT, and it stores the verification hash in the Vera Vault. So proof of view is a module deployed for NFTs, and also we already have the patent for proof of view, so it's going to be essentially the same technology. It records the NFT creation and the original owner credentials, and then where the magic happens is the proof of view module records all the changes to NFT ownership during its lifespan. So you basically have an auditable and immutable trail of where that NFT was minted, where it's been sold, who minted it, and who the ownership rights belong to, the creation rights, so that people could rip it off, try and copy it, but you would have an actual on-chain certificate to say that you minted it, or it was an original mint sort of thing. We can do this, we can provide the content delivery as well. So if it was to go on display in a virtual art gallery, it would come with a little verified by proof of view. And I think the best way to sort of envisage this, and it's always hard, right? It's when, I don't know, my mom asked me about NFTs and you have to try and describe it. But when you've got a holographic seal on on a product that's or a QR code on a product that's got maybe it's from a specific region or something like that, and it's got that little hologram and QR code, and you can look into its history and where it was made and verify that it was real. We're going to do the same for NFTs through proof of view. So it's going to be a really powerful tool to prevent NFT fraud. It's going to be available first, obviously, on Veraverse, on our NFT marketplace. So you'll be able to mint NFTs that are verified by proof of view. And who we think this is going to be most attractive for is perhaps not your traditional NFTs like Bored Apes and that sort of thing, but we really want to bring serious artists.
Yeah.
You know, like people who have, and we're talking like historical art estates as well, like world leading artists that could mint their artwork on the blockchain through proof of view and have it authenticated as that like seal of approval. So it's something we're really excited about.
Yeah.
And we're going to be expanding on it more in Q2. We actually just got a bit of the functionality of that and our vision covered in Forbes. So we're already talking to people about how we want to take this forward, and we're really excited to see it develop and go live.
That's truly incredible. I know right now it's a huge time for artists, because before, when you created a piece of art, you know, you would just sell it and then that was the only kind of revenue you would get. Now with the NFT marketplace, you can actually put a royalty on the NFT, actually your art, and so as it gets sold and resold, you're actually making a portion of that back, you know, for the original artist, which is, I think, is game changing, and that's how it actually should be, right? Because the original artist should always get kind of some royalties back to that. Is there any other place in crypto or any real world application that you can use this same kind of technology on that kind of stuff? I mean, I know you guys are doing the Veraverse, you guys got the NFT side, but is there any other place or any other thing that you can use this fraud you know, system to help grow Veracity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that like our first and foremost like focus for proof of view is going to be like the rollout of our ad fraud prevention. By extension, for that will be NFTs. But yeah, the most, like, I would say, like the killer USP for proof of view is preventing ads from being watched fraudulently, and that alone is like if we can crack that, it's like a multi-billion-dollar market. But I think more broadly, like proof of view can be used as sort of a verification system for a whole host of like digital assets and on-chain assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting, and we probably haven't got far enough down the line to think about how it would be used like outside of ad tech and NFTs.
Got it.
Because I think like those two industries alone are big enough that they could probably
Very true.
make Veracity like a huge project just on their own. But there definitely must be like other things that need verifying. It's like you said there with programmability with smart contracts and like art and that sort of thing. The other big thing is ticketing, and this is probably going off on a tangent a little bit.
No,
I've
go
been
for it,
reading
man.
into it recently, and it's really interesting. So smart contracts and like even NFTs now being used for like event tickets, where you can program, you can put programmability into it so that you can stop people like scalping tickets. So you would have that audit trail. Say I bought a ticket to like, I don't know, go and see like Rammstein or something concert. If I was to resell that ticket, Rammstein as an artist would get a portion of the profits of my resale if we did it through the NFT. So there's a few projects that are already doing that. I think that might be a really interesting thing to explore in the future. This is just me sort of like sort of thinking out loud. It's not something that we've looked at as a project yet.
No, I got you.
It's an interesting like thing to think about. You know?
Absolutely. There's so many different things you guys can do. Before I ask all the questions, Scott, I'm sure you have a couple for Elliot here. You want to go ahead and ask a couple, bud? Oh, Scotty, can't hear you. I think Scott might be having some sound issues. Actually, he's traveling with his family right now, so I'll just take over until he can kind of come back and I can hear him. Walk us through what VeraEsports is.
So I mean, I think we've like mainly covered the VeraEsports as a channel. So VeraEsports, like,
oh, that's right. That's right. We talked about it in the beginning. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, it's just going to be like a number one platform. I don't mind just going over it again just quickly because I know that a lot of people have joined that weren't here at the start. VeraEsports is like a tournament channel. So you can host esports content there. We're going to have a lot more. Probably, actually, this is a good opportunity to talk about where we're going with VeraEsports.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we just hired a head of VeraEsports. His name's Perry. He joined us last month, and he is going to be like the like the captain of the VeraEsports ship. So Perry is like a veteran esports guy. He's worked for loads of esports companies. He like created and sold his own esports company as well. And he used to be a professional gamer, so he's really embedded within the esports space. He's joined us here. He's also based in the UK. I've met him a few times now. He's a really great guy. And part of his job is going to be building our esports offering out with like new games providers. So right now we've already got partnerships with Riot, but Perry knows a lot of different like games, like games companies, gaming companies, and a lot of different titles that they could possibly bring on the platform. So we are having a chat to some of those companies right now. Hopefully throughout Q2 we can announce some more of these like partners on VeraEsports side. And what we really want to do is see how the platform evolves. So we've got kind of two routes at the moment. I mean, we host like mainly tournament content on there. So we work with like official gaming partners to host tournaments. We've already had like tournaments, as I've said there, for like Valorant, but also for like PUBG and Dota and that sort of stuff. And Axie, like through the Galaxy Cup. But what we really want to do is maybe explore opening up some like user generated content. So a little like you said there about like Twitch and YouTube. I think one of the main attractions of them is obviously they're great for tournaments, but also they let anyone become a streamer and share their content.
Yeah.
That's something we're definitely looking into, because we think that's going to be like that would be a huge like benefit to your average streamer if they could also say to their users like, hey, come and watch me like stream and play, but also by watching me on VeraEsports you'll earn rewards which you can redeem against like in-game items. So that's something that we're definitely looking at, but I would say like the short-term goal is just getting more gaming partners, getting them onto the platform and hosting like big tournaments. And then we can also make this tournament content available to like our broadcast partners on Brightcove. So we can let them basically like share and watch the esports tournaments on VeraEsports and play them to like their audience as well. So that's also part of our goal there.
No, that's huge. Scott, you want to try? Do you see if your mic's working, bud?
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, we can hear you, Scotty. Go for it.
Okay. All right. So going back to the NFT thing real quick, what if you guys get that all ramped up and your proof of concept for the views work, like what is it going to take to be able to roll that out to like OpenSea and NF Trade and all that stuff? Like, do you guys see yourself moving into that market to offer them that type of smart contract, or do you want people to come to you?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think I said earlier that we would make like the minting process available on Veraverse, on our NFT marketplace. That's certainly going to be one way that you can do it, but we also do have plans to allow people who have already got NFTs to actually go back and like verify them as being the originals on our platform. So I'm not gonna pretend that I know like the ins and outs that our devs do about this, because I'm just the guy who talks about it. But so basically we use like Oracle nodes, which I guess, and I've worked with oracles in the past, but I guess they would use like aggregated data to like on-chain data to basically like verify when an NFT was created and where it's created. And we're going to enable the conversion of conventional NFTs minted without this intrinsic ownership protection through proof of view. And we're going to allow them to be transformed into proof of view enabled ones. So it's going to empower like the rightful owners of NFTs and artists to like retrospectively protect their artwork through our technology. So that definitely is something we have plans for. Like, it would be a shame, if even if it became like the number one used method of verifying NFTs, it would be a shame if no one who minted an NFT before proof of view was live could like make use of it. So we definitely have plans to do that. what that's going to look like and whether we'll like go and white label that to existing marketplaces like OpenSea, I don't know yet, so I couldn't say. But yeah, that would make sense. And then what also would make sense is allowing people to say, bring in any like NFT that's minted, say on Ethereum, and move it through our proof of view, like retrospective, technology, and then we could get that verified. So I'm not quite sure what exactly that's going to look like yet. But we definitely.
No, I think that will be a game changer, regardless of how you guys implement it. I think that'll change a lot of things if you guys can actually successfully launch that type of thing and roll it out for people to, especially people that are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of these NFTs in different projects and things like that. I think it'll be huge, and especially if other like sporting teams, they start rolling out NFTs as tickets and things like that. Like, I think it'll be a big hit for all that kind of stuff. So going over your roadmap stuff, I want to go into the Q2 stuff that you have there. So one of the things that you have on there in Q2 is Vera Card partnership. What does that entail?
Yeah, so the Vera Card is just going to be like, we're working with a third party provider that is going to make like Veracity branded cards available. So they're going to be used to basically like as a fiat off ramp for Veracity. So at the moment we've got the Vera wallet, and the Vera wallet is like our custodial wallet that we use to store. I mean, all of our like VRA holders can store VRA in the Vera wallet, but also it's used to store VRA earned through watch and earn programs. And what we're trying to do, I think I mentioned it previously, is create this like circular economy where like our ad tech stack and our video player is embedded in like clients can serve ads through it, and then you could watch eSports and earn these points. They would go into the Vera wallet, then you could redeem them, or with the Vera Card you could load it onto the Vera Card and use them in real life. So one of the ways that we're getting ready for this and the rollout of it is we just push CSV functionality to Vera Wallet, so you can export your transaction history data. So obviously we want everyone to use our platform in a compliant manner as well. So you would basically use the VRA as you would on a normal like prepaid debit card, I guess. A little bit like Crypto.com cards. But just specifically for VRA, and then you could go and spend that in a number of outlets wherever pretty much accepted that. I'm not sure yet whether it's going to be like Visa or MasterCard or which card provider specifically it's going to be, but I'm guessing it's going to be like Visa or MasterCard, which will have broad functionality. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be like it's going to be a really cool way to just let our community members, because we also have our staking program. We just committed to another year of staking APY, so we actually offer 18.25% on our staking program, which is pretty huge, in staking. I mean, I know that in yield farming you get huge yields, but there's a lot of risk there. Well, with Veracity, it's just VRA staking is just paid every day. You get 18.25%. There's like a 700 VRA transaction fee to take it out, but once that's like passed, like it's just that steady, stable staking, and giving our users a way to use that VRA that they've earned through staking straight onto a preloaded card and go and spend on groceries or something cooler if you're not as boring as me and you want something cool to spend your crypto on, would be like, it's a natural progression for like the Vera wallet. So a lot of people have asked, is that still on the cards? Yes, it is still like something that we're planning. It's planned for Q2. There's nothing, we don't foresee anything that's going to delay that yet. But obviously in the meantime, now that we're listed on crypto.com, you can also load up VRA onto Crypto.com card. I don't know if anyone listening uses Crypto.com. I do use their debit card. I find it really, really useful. So it's actually going to have like the same functionality as that. You could load up VRA like right now I guess you would have to transfer it to some like stable coin or something, but then you can load it onto a card. The only difference with our card is going to be that you can load VRA onto it directly. You don't have to transfer it to like a different pairing or that sort of thing.
Gotcha. So I wouldn't have to. Okay, awesome. That's kind of a hassle sometimes when you have to convert it and put it into like your top up account and stuff on crypto.com. But so like going over like your partnerships and all of that stuff, like all of the information that you guys are going to have, like what are the security measures that you guys have in place to make sure that those businesses or people's information is safe from all of the Vera views and the wallets and the vault and all of those different things?
In terms of like actual data protection, or in terms of like how it's stored on chain?
Probably a little bit of both, right?
Both, yeah. Yep, both.
Yeah, so I mean the on-chain like data wouldn't be stored in a way that it could be like interpreted by anyone. So when we like post data to the blockchain, you can put it in like totally the words totally escape me now, but it's basically like data that you attach to like a smart contract. It doesn't necessarily metadata, sorry. Yeah, it's in a metadata format. So you would put the metadata along with the transaction, and to anyone, like, I guess, because obviously blockchains are public, we've got a side chain, but in the future, you know, if that was to be on a public blockchain, even if someone were to go snooping through all these transactions, the metadata wouldn't make sense to them. So it would only make sense in the context of our like admin panel, basically. So we've built out a tailored admin panel and a tailored like analytics dashboard for ad serve. So that metadata about like ad served and that sort of thing wouldn't particularly make sense to anyone who would look at that. In terms of like user data, I'm not sure that we actually really collect that much. So we have the user data from Vera Wallet. We're now just rolling out automated KYC procedures. That KYC is going to be handled by a third party. I believe we're going to be using some substance. They're one of the leading KYC providers, and they have their own like data security protocols in place. All we need to do is basically essentially verify that people are who they say they are, and then the only things we have over and above that is like their email. So it's not like we're going to be collecting identity information about people, like their personal like ID cards and that sort of thing, and storing it. That's going to be handled by a third party who are like you know, they have the processes in place to do that, and you know, they're like legally able to do so. So there's loads of companies that do like KYC like that and process user data. On Fido is one, some substance is one of the other leading providers. That's who we're going to use. So I think in terms of like the actual ad data, yeah, it's protected as metadata attached to smart contracts and attached to those transactions that go in and out of our network. And then in terms of the other data that we capture, it's really pretty minimal. Yeah.
Gotcha. It looks like in Q4, it looks like you guys have some updates coming for your security stuff and authentication stuff. According to your roadmap, anyway.
The authentication. Oh, sorry. So the improved account authority. The improved account security by introducing multi-factor authentication. Yes, that's just going to be like basically, we're just going to enable like a more advanced like 2FA. So you're going to have to like log in through 2FA or something, just so you don't like yeah. I mean, the benefits of 2FA I think are totally like evident, right? We need to use it for everything now. I mean, it's very easy, unfortunately, to like get someone's email or password through phishing. So yeah, we're just gonna roll that out. That's going to be like an important security update, but we're all about like making the whole platform more secure. Obviously we want to keep it fairly open so that we get these new users, and we also attract a non-tech savvy audience, because I think it's really easy in blockchain, and yeah, this is going off a little bit from Veracity, but I've worked in the blockchain space now for many years pretty much, and things move fast, and like all of us on this AMA are probably crypto natives. We know how to use Web3 technologies, we know how to keep our passphrase secure, but where we are like as an industry, and what we really need to do a good job of at Veracity is, how do we get people that aren't necessarily crypto savvy to adopt a crypto or a blockchain solution? And that's really quite hard. Like, a lot of the concepts that we're familiar with are like totally alien to a lot of people. Like, they do want that like intermediary to manage their access to things. They do want someone like a bank or a custodian to help them if their money's lost. Like, we're all used to the fact that if we give our private keys to someone, like, that's our own fault. But not a lot of people in like the normal world outside of crypto really feel that way. And on top of that, the enterprises that we're like interfacing with, they are also probably not going to be like crypto natives. So we have marker tokens within our system, which are used exclusively for enterprise partners. They power our VeraViews ad tech stack. They're VRA tokens, but they're only like delineated for enterprise purposes. We're going to have a very clear like disclosure on that in our new white paper. The marker tokens are exclusively for the use of B2B users, and they're not able to like sell them or put them into the market. But actually getting them to use these tokens and getting them these tokens, they just want to deal like in fiat, right? So that's something we're going to have to consider. Maybe we keep that in escrow for them to power the VeraViews solution. And then, once they're spent, which is basically like campaign costs, we take our revenue, which is we would get a portion of their ad spend budget. And then we would recycle these market tokens back into new ad campaigns for new enterprise users, or maybe the same user wants to run a new ad campaign. So we really need to think carefully, not just for like retail users, but also for enterprise users, about how we make like onboarding into a crypto solution simple. And I think that's where a hell of a lot of projects go wrong. It's where they fall down. They make things way too complicated for like normal new users. Yeah, and that's another reason why we hear about so much fraud in the NFT space and stuff. Like, unfortunately, for the last place that I worked, it was a DeFi protocol, and obviously like a lot of new people want to get in on DeFi because the APYs are high, the staking is really attractive. But we would get like people contacting us every week and saying, oh, this guy asked me for my private phrase, he said he was a support guy, and I gave it him. And it's like, we really need to do education as an industry around how to stay safe in crypto, but also like attract new users while keeping them safe. So
yeah, and that's kind of the reason, I wanted to create a space like Cryptonairz to help educate people, because the learning curve is huge. It doesn't take, it takes weeks, if not months, to really understand how to use and operate a wallet or Coinbase. I mean, just anything, MetaMask to staking, anything. It just takes a lot of learning, and so the faster we can make things easier for the mass adoption, the more people will be able to include in crypto. Before we open up to the audience, Elliot, is there anything that maybe we haven't gone over that you think is important and that we should know about VRA?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that was some good questions. I'd just say, like, to everyone watching, if you want to know exactly like where we're at the moment, we released our Q1 update yesterday, and that just goes into a little bit about how we've been growing over this year, some of the features that we've just rolled out, and hopefully it's a pretty interesting read. So yeah, go ahead and have a look at that. That's on our Medium.
Absolutely. I'll leave it to the audience. If anyone wants to raise their hand to ask a question, now would be a good time to do that. Let's see if anybody has anything. And
he just dropped off.
oh shoot, sorry. My bad. I misclicked the wrong thing. I apologize. I ejected myself out of the AMA. If anyone has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I know Elliot did a fantastic job about covering VRA and everything that they're doing. Does anybody have a question for Elliot? We'll give you 30 seconds to raise your hand. If not, we'll go ahead and end it here, man. Oh, here we go. There's always a couple questions. All right, Gazelle, I invited you up. Go ahead and click the green button at the top of Discord. You come on up, sir. Or ma'am. Gazelle, there you go. You got it. Go ahead and unmute and ask your question, my friend. Gizzel, you just got to unmute yourself, my friend. All right. Anybody else? Oh, there he goes.
All right.
How you doing?
There you go. All right. Yeah. Appreciate you letting me speak. Been a long time holder of VRA. What about the marketing? I know last year it was a lot of marketing going on, a lot of marketing campaigns. I mean, everywhere I looked, it was event posting and stuff like that, and it really helped the price action and get people aware. So I was just asking, what is up? What's in store as far as in-house Veracity team marketing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have seen pretty good growth across all of our socials. I mean, my background is more from a communications and PR. So I don't know if you've seen it this quarter, but we've really ramped up where we're getting featured, and this is more to do with our strategy now for where we're at as a project. So I don't know if you read our Q1 update yesterday, but basically we're at a point now as a project where we need to sell our solutions to enterprise partners, and the most important part of that is being featured in the places where these enterprise users. So let's say this is a total example, don't read into this, but that we have a partnership with these guys, but let's say the marketing exec, the guy who controls ad spend at Nike, for example, is looking for a new way to prevent ad fraud because they're losing a ton of budget to fraudulent ads. He's going to be reading Adweek, he's going to be reading Forbes, Entrepreneur, NASDAQ, these kinds of publications. So that's what we're really ramping up on now. We want to get the Veracity name as an ad tech stack out there to B2B users who are going to contact us and saying, okay, sign us up for $1 million ad campaign. That's what we really want. But in terms of actual traditional marketing, I fully agree. We're going to do more this year. So I actually met up with the rest of the team last week. We met up with Perry, Justin, and Rob in London, and David Archer, and we discussed a lot about how we could increase our marketing. So one of the things that we're going to do in the rest of Q2 is going to be attending in-person events. So we've shortlisted and bought tickets for over 10 in-person events. One of those is the IAB, which is one of the biggest marketing events in the world, and that's in London shortly. So we also just attended, we're going to be attending ICE, which is an international gaming summit, but they've got a special thing for eSports this year. We're going to be going to the Cannes Lions Festival, which is the biggest advertising, one of the biggest advertising events in the world for each year. So we're really going to be ramping up how many of these events we go to. Obviously, you're going to see some socials around that as well. So yeah, we are increasing that. Also on my side, I'm pretty much looking to hire a couple of digital marketing people that can help just keep pumping those socials, because I do know how important they are on for crypto specifically. But it's part of, I guess, our shifting focus onto attracting enterprise clients. One of the other things you might have noticed is over the last couple of months, we've really pushed into growing VeraEsports. So we've grown how many people are using the platform there. I think in our update yesterday, I shared that we've increased the average session duration by nearly 40%. So people spend more time on VeraEsports, and we've reduced the bounce rate. So That's the number of people who actually stay on the website for a decent amount of time, to just like 25%, which is really good. So yeah, things are happening, and we're just going to ramp up during the rest of the year.
Elliot, are you guys planning on bringing any more games into esports? You know, like, I mean, Apex Legends is a huge community. Like, you know, tens of 20, you know, hundreds of thousands of people play the game. I mean, you know, there's League of Legends, all that kind of stuff. Are you guys planning to expand into other kind of games and any other areas to bring more people in?
Yeah, we absolutely are. So that's going to be like Perry's job. Like that's going to be his main like job now, is to bring these new games to our platform, get new tournaments. As one of the things we're going to be doing soon, and Perry and I spoke about it on Friday actually, is that we think it'd be really cool. Like, we do meet up quite a lot in person in London now. Like, the core team does, like, at least once a month. Which is really important. It's one of the first crypto companies that I worked at actually that does that, and it's really good for like setting our direction as a team. So it's cool that we do that. It makes us like a strong team. One of the things that we're going to do next time we go is head to some of the esports spots in London, which are huge. Like, there's loads of places in Shoreditch that like have esports cafes, esports bars where they stream like big tournaments. And we're going to hold an AMA from one of those places with Perry. So you guys can have a chance to chat to Perry and talk about what the actual strategy for VeraEsports is. And you can hear it like direct from him, what his plans are as well.
That's huge, man. Gazelle, did you have any other questions for Elliot, my friend?
Oh, no, yeah, actually, just one more.
Sure.
Because I've been seeing some FUD, you know, and I don't know if people in here, I mean, I read the white paper. I pretty much understand the market tokens and the off-ramp for the financial institutions and stuff like that. If you could just go into a little bit more detail on what's the, you know, is the market tokens and the actual market tokens, are they 1-to-1 ratio? You know, that's pretty much the main thing that I've been seeing a lot of people, specifically on Twitter, have an issue with, is the actual max supply, available supply, and the ratio or difference between the marker tokens and the actual market tokens.
Yeah, so we're going to have like an absolute definitive answer for this that I really hope is going to satisfy this question and let us move forward in the new white paper. And we've got a tokenomics article that is coming out at the same time as that. Pretty much finished that last week, so it is going to be soon. I know you guys have heard that a lot, but we have had some third-party dependencies there, notably like Exangle, but also some of the exchanges that we've listed on recently. We've had to make sure that they have like a true and good overview of our tokenomics in order for them to list us, basically. Crypto.com being the main one.
Yep.
Market tokens will not be a 1-to-1 ratio. Market tokens are never ever going to be available in the market, so they're not going to have any impact on circulating supply. We're going to clear up that circulating supply question, but yeah, we can be very clear, and the messaging in the white paper is very clear that market tokens are exclusively to allow enterprise users to leverage the VeraViews ad tech stack. They can't manipulate the token in any way. They can't move it onto like a marketplace or sell it, nor can we. So yeah, we're going to be really, really clear and upfront with that in the white paper. These are exclusively to allow them to use our solution, basically.
Right. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm tracking. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Gazelle.
Thanks for the questions. Yeah, good questions.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for adding value. Does anyone else have a question before we let Elliot get back to his day here? I'm sure it's getting a little bit late there in London, so I'll give maybe another 15, 20 seconds here if anyone else wants to raise their hand. If not, we'll give Elliot the last word. Anything you'd like to say in closing, Elliot?
No, I think that's it. It's been a great AMA, really good to chat to you all. Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock here in the UK, but as our like community members probably know, I'm usually up until about 3 in the morning doing something, so still got a long time left. Probably go and do some work. But yeah, it's been great.
I got you, man. Shmoney had a question. I wanted to give him the opportunity to ask it. Shmoney, what you got?
Yes, hello. Do you guys hear me?
We hear you just fine, my friend.
Okay, perfect. Elliot, first of all, thank you very much. I'm a long-term investor, and it's really great to hear you speak about Veracity, and we're glad to have you on the team. Another thing I'm wondering, and what a lot of people are wondering, where's Mark? Normally, he's very, very involved. He tweets a lot, and we haven't seen anything from him in a while, so I was just wondering, yeah, where's Mark?
Is Mark okay?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've actually been meaning to chat a little bit about this. So Mark is still with the project. He's the founder of the project. Basically, like, I don't know if you guys have sort of real like noticed, but the last couple of months have definitely been about building out like a strong executive team for Veracity. So I was appointed as comms director. We've got Justin. I know there's been a rumour that Justin's left, but he hasn't. I'll get a shot with him next time we're down in London. But Justin is our Chief Revenue Officer. So he leads that side of the business and generating new revenue, generating customers. We've got Rob now, who's been with Veracity for many years, and he leads on the financial side, David on the legal side. Now we've got Perry as the head of VeraEsports. Mark is he's been on like vacation actually for the past couple of weeks, but he's very much still involved with Veracity, but in his role as founder, and this is like how it usually is in like tech companies. He's now built up the executive functions of Veracity to a point where we're like a pretty big beast. Like, we can go on our own and like build out all the functions necessary. So yeah, maybe Mark is like enjoying his holiday and leaving it to us. Maybe this is our trial period. Like, the last couple of weeks he's been on holiday to see how things function with him like in the back seat. But yeah, he's definitely like still involved in Veracity. And yeah, he's just having a bit of a break, and a well-earned holiday, I would say, as well, probably. But yeah, in the meantime, like, all of us at Veracity, like, we've got like a really strong core executive team now. We actually we're hiring more devs as well. So we just reached nearly 50 full-time team members, I think.
Wow.
One of the things that I've been asking for is to have these team members more publicly on our website as well. Hopefully you'll get a chance to meet them all a little bit more. I think we could definitely do a better job of saying like who's behind Veracity, who's working on Veracity. So yeah, be happy to do that in the future. But yeah, we're growing across all like metrics. So we're sort of getting into like this state of being like like a big entity, like a self-running entity, which is pretty cool. Everyone's got their like specific job within like the exec team. So yeah.
Well, it's good to know you guys are bringing on, some big players, and you guys really want to grow this thing. Where do you guys see Veracity in in a year from now? Are you guys trying to get to that $1 billion market cap? I mean, is there, I guess, is there any other partnerships maybe that you haven't told us, or anything else that you guys are working on before we end?
Yeah, I mean, in a year from now, we've just released the Q1 update, and we talked a little bit, if people read between the lines, like, we talked a little bit about the readiness of our proof of use solution, so the readiness of their reviews for enterprise clients. So in a year from now, like, obviously we hope that we're going to have a lot of enterprise clients using the VeraViews platform through Brightcove, but also maybe through other marketplaces, like content marketplaces and video on demand marketplaces. And basically what this does, and why it's so important for us, is that it drives revenue.
Yeah.
So we make the way that Veracity makes revenue is that when ads are served through the VeraViews ad tech stack, and we prevent that fraud, for every ad that's served, we take a portion of that ad revenue, which, when you're thinking about like big companies with like millions and millions of dollars of ad spend, that can really add up to be quite significant. And this is another reason why we need like these marker tokens as well. And we need like a fair few marker tokens, because in the future we are going to have, all things considered, a lot of enterprise clients. And then what we do with these revenues, so obviously we use them for operational expenses. But after we've paid those operational expenses, so that's things like obviously salaries to keep the team afloat, and like growing ourselves as business. But then we use all like the spare cash, like the profits. We use a portion of that to buy back and burn VRA. So hopefully in the next year, we'll see that we've got some healthy revenues on the table. Some of those burns will have taken place. And we'll have some like enterprise clients which we can share with the community. That would be like the perfect scenario, and I think everyone, like myself included, is pretty eager to talk about the enterprise partners that Veracity is going to get. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next year. I think we've got a lot planned. Even just the rollout of like Vera views alone is like pretty huge.
Yep.
But then we've got the NFT marketplace on top of that. So yeah, it's a rapidly growing ecosystem.
Man, Elliot, I really appreciate you helping us understand where Veracity is and where you guys are going and all of the stuff that you guys are working on. It's been truly a pleasure speaking to you for this last hour. I'm even more bullish on VRA now than I was before. And I think you guys have bought back and burned over 2 billion tokens, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure
It's a
actually.
lot.
I would have to I'd have to
It's all
refresh
good.
my memory on that. Obviously, I like joined in January. So
No,
some
I
of the
know,
things
brother.
that happened
You're
before then.
you're good, man.
Yeah, I need to read into a bit more. I wouldn't want to say yes and then.
Yeah, I got you, man.
I think we have, yeah.
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate it, Elliot. Thank you so much. We're more than welcome to come back and, in the next quarter or whatever, when you guys have another update, we can share that with the community. But I really wish you a good day and, all the best luck with VRA going forward. And we'll be here to support you guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a great AMA, and thanks for everyone who asked questions as well.
Appreciate you, man. You have a great weekend.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.